Hey everybody, welcome to week number 2 of our 8-week term. I'm going to share my screen so that everybody can see our class and here we go. So this is our class. This is unit number 2. As I mentioned in the first week, each of our weekly units look very similar in terms of layout. This is just our second week overview, so it just gives you an idea of the topic, the subject matter we're going to be discussing and reading about during this week, a list of objectives, and a list of activities that we're going to engage in. So the objectives, we're going to be working with some reading assigned articles this week, and we have a couple of articles to read, and then applying what we learn in those articles to our writing. In particular, we're going to talk about the importance of reliable and unreliable sources when we do research, and then also some demonstrations of APA style. And that's APA style is how we take whatever it is that we've researched and include it in our writing. And how we do that, there's a very specific format so we can avoid any plagiarism. As usual, the most important part of the week is readings and resources. You have to read through all this stuff in readings and resources before you start doing assignments. So if I was a student in this class, I would start this Monday at the earliest point of the week for me. So I would read through all the material, all the links. I would take some notes on that material, and then I would start working on the assignments. Of course, you have access to go back and review any of this material as you're working through the assignments. But each of the assignments, the discussion board, the journal, and the supported paragraph writing, they all are asking you to apply things that you've read about here. So for example, the 5 C's of writing and the science of strong business writing, those are 2 articles you're going to be responding to in the supported paragraph and the journal this week. How to find reliable sources, that's what you're going to talk about in your discussion board this week. So make sure you read through these things carefully, take notes on your own and or refer back to the material as necessary. Watch the videos about, this is actually a very great video about how to take notes on the stuff that you read. So I actually strongly encourage you to watch this first and then do your reading. There's another good thing about reading comprehension. So if reading comprehension is not your strong suit, that means that you're going to want to take a little bit of extra time to maybe watch these videos and take your time during the week. And that's what this class is really about a lot, is that time management part. And it's just a matter of understanding what's being asked of you during the week and how much time you individually have to put into it. And it may be different from what another student has to put into it, and that's fine. Like if some students are like, oh yeah, I get this, this is fine, but you're not, that's okay. It's just a matter of how you manage your time versus how somebody else manages their time. But you have to figure that stuff out in order to be successful. So if anybody has questions about that or needs some assistance with that time management piece, please email me. I'm happy to help you create some strategies. So the first discussion board is about reliable information. So just like last week, you'll read the prompt here. These are the questions we want you to ask, want you to answer. And we want you to answer these in a well-developed paragraph. So don't just bullet point them. And don't just, here's the question, here's my answer. Practicing our writing, and we practice writing by developing paragraphs. So that's where we're going to start. You have, for your peer response, you have 2 peer responses to do. There's a specific question for the peer response. The original post is due by Wednesday, and your 2 follow-up replies, your 2 peer responses are due by the following Sunday. So make sure that you're hitting those due dates as well. And then again, this is about reliable and unreliable sources. So that's going to be referring to what you're reading about in this link right here. So make sure you've read that and understand what's happening with that. The Unit 2 journal is referring to this article, Science of Strong Business Writing, which is also in the readings and resources. And again, a couple of questions. Try to write a couple of paragraphs. Again, as it says, journals should be 6 or more sentences. So it's a much shorter assignment. When we get to the writing assignments, this is Unit 2 writing assignment, make sure that you click on this link, this attached file as PDF, because it's going to give you the full instructions, all the details, right? So in this assignment, you'll create one fully developed paragraph, in which you respond to a question with a clear topic sentence, a quote from the article, and supporting sentences. and you'll practice writing the third person point of view. So you have to have a quote from the article. You have to be writing a third person point of view. And then when I grade this, the universities created the rubrics that I use, meaning there's literally a little rubric under each assignment, and I click based on, did they do this part? Did they have a quote from the article? Yes. And I click, 10 out of 10. If they don't have a quote from an article, it might be a 0 out of 10. If there's a quote, but maybe it wasn't an APA format, it might be 5 out of 10, something like that. So I don't create the rubric, but I have to use the rubric in order to grade your work. If you do this assignment, for example, and you're just not sure about the APA format, you're doing your best, you try, that's fine. If it's way off mark, or if something's really off the mark in terms of content, in terms of APA, I will send you an email and let you know. I'll grade it accordingly as based on the rubric. But if I'm thinking like they could probably take another shot at this, I allow for those types of revisions. I'm perfectly happy to do that. So you have to make sure you're watching for email during the week for me. So you have to be checking your email pretty regularly, especially once you turn in an assignment like this. I start grading these assignments the week. So this is due on Sunday. So I start grading them Monday and Tuesday usually. So you're gonna be looking for emails from me, particularly those first 2 days of the week. So this is responding to the 5 C's of writing. You'll answer one of the questions here. I'm sorry, you'll answer all the questions here. 7 to 9 sentences in length for each paragraph. So this is one paragraph, 7 to 9 sentences. So it's not a really long assignment. The rubric, again, is down here, gives you an idea of how I'm going to be grading it. And you see like clear and professional writing in APA format, 0 to 8 points, all the way up to 15 points. Third person point of view means that you're not using I. It's not like I think this, or in my opinion, or telling personal stories. That's first person. Second person is when you say, you would think this and you would think that, using you and your, that's second person. We don't want to use either one of those. We want to use third person academic point of view, which means you say in the article 5 C's of writing, the authors state blah, 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 blah. The authors believe blah, 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 blah. In some examples, this could happen. Other times this could happen. You just never use the I and you never use the you. You can use third person pronouns like he, she, it, they, them, and so on. What else about this? Okay, so I think everything else is explained then in the readings and resources. And you also have some more information here. Here's where we have the information about the topic sentence. Okay, so that's due by Sunday. All your assignments, discussion boards by Wednesday. Everything else is due by Sunday. Make sure you read all the instructions. Here's some good information about using the in-text citation, about how to quote from the article. That's right here. Everything you need is right here. But if you're struggling, if you're having a hard time figuring things out, email me. But you got to email me early in the week so we have time to kind of maybe go back and forth if we need to. That's why it's so important to read through the entire unit, all the instructions, all the things, as early in the week as you possibly can. Even if you don't understand it, that gives you an opportunity to send me some questions via email, because that's going to take a little bit of time going back and forth. Okay, I think that's it for the week. I hope that you all, have a great week, and best of luck to you.